Okay, we're going to start something fun here for a little bit of a pre-stream, before the pre-stream, before with pre-stream. We're going to kick out some music for fun and entertainment for people. Let's go play some music. Oops, that one's missing. Hang on. Here we go. This one works.
You say you want to run with me. You think I fit you to a T. To you I'm just another guy next door. Oh, but let me get square with you. I'm always gonna be on the move, searching for rowdy places I can't afford. I'm just your everyday rambler, a little hard to handle. I know every joint around and some afar. I may not stay at home much, but you'll always feel my touch. And with me every night will be ones to remember. I'm just your everyday rambler. Your dad'll probably hate my ways, while your mom is praying that I'll change. But I promise you, girl, that I'm your very guy. Because even though I'm restless and wild, I'll always try to make you smile. And you won't get bored with my fun-loving kind of life. I'm just your everyday rambler, a little hard to handle. I know every joint around and some afar. I may not stay at home much, but you'll always feel my touch. And with me every night will be ones to remember. Just your everyday rambler. Change my crazy ways and live close to the vet, but that's not me. My heart won't let me be nobody else. I'm just your everyday rambler, a little hard to handle. I know every joint around and some afar. I may not stay at home much, but you'll always feel my touch.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun.
And there it be. It must be time. Off we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
And today I have discussions, plugins, and more, all coming up on Plugin Pulse, WP Plugins A to Z Unplugged. WordPress, the king of content management systems, powering the web with over 80,000 plugins to choose from. How do you sort the junk from the gems? Welcome to WP Plugins A to Z, where we've been keeping the pulse of WordPress alive for over 16 incredible years. Join us every week for an unrehearsed, real talk breakdowns of the latest and greatest plugins, developer and community member interviews. Some weeks, Amber and I team up to dig in. Others, I'm flying solo, unpacking WordPress news, demoing a standout plugin, or sharing tips to power up your site. No scripts, no fluff, just the good stuff from A to Z. So plug in and let's get rolling. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the Brewery Overlook in beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall, and I am flying solo today. Anyway, we've got some really great stuff here. I'm talking, unpopular ideas in WordPress and more, and YouTube has something new and entertaining for me. And they've got this new feature here in their studio, so I can actually create two separate streams, one for the regular YouTube and one for the shorts, or the slim stuff. Yeah, the shorts. So we'll have to figure out how that can all work into things. Other than that, I've got all kinds of other miscellaneous stuff. I've been I'll be showcasing lots of stuff. I've been working on the format for this show to make it more viable and useful for all of you folks out there listening. And for those listening to the downloads, some of the stuff you may have to come to YouTube to see what I'm showing, or just read the show notes and follow the links. I put all the links into the show notes. Starting first off, though, what I've got a new feature that I'm going to be doing on a regular basis now. And what it is, I'm going to be talking about a premium plugin that I am using, I like, and I'm going to be promoting it because I feel like the developers need to get more notice and more sales. And this is the way I'm going to be doing and handling all that. Now, the first one I've got, starting this off, is WP Image Descriptor. This comes to us from Sean over at Web321. And this is a fantastic little plugin. I've had it for a while, and I didn't really make use of it to its most effectiveness until the last few weeks when I was rebuilding the Oasis website. And I discovered that if you work with it and you tweak it enough, you get some really good descriptions out of this plugin. It's a very affordable plugin. It's an AI plugin that works in your media gallery. It's integrated into WooCommerce, and it's integrated through most of the areas in Elementor for working with it when you're pulling stuff up from the media gallery. So it works really well. Occasionally it's got a minor glitch, but I'm sure he'll be working on those as I let him know what I find. So it's very affordable. It's very affordable, and it's very helpful in that what it costs you, once you install it, you got to pay credits for it. The credits are 1,000 credits for $20, $19.99. And it costs you 10 credits per image, and it gets you a full title description. It gets you a full alt description. It gets you a full caption description, and it gets you a full description for your image. And each one mildly different, but very full. And as he says, they're human-friendly, engaging descriptions that are SEO-friendly also. Help you connect with your audiences on those things. So anyway, go check them out and go follow the link in my show notes. Yeah, there's no affiliates to it, no coupons. It's just me trying to showcase this good stuff. And that'll be at the top on every show I do going forward. All right, what we're going to be talking about next, we're going to bounce into, and I forgot to transition that. There we go. Let's give you guys something to look at besides the pretty logo art this week. There you go. Talk for a minute. Go silent so I can drink some coffee. All right, here we go. All right, I got a couple of plugins to discuss here today. I'm going to talk about one, go do a couple other things, and then talk about the other one. As I've mentioned, I just spent a good chunk of time rebuilding the Rogues Oasis website. And in the process, I had to discover a few new plugins to help me through something unique that I was doing. Well, I don't know if it's unique, but something unique to me that I was doing. And what I was doing was I was taking posts that were categorized for my recipes and I was moving them to a custom post type so I could enhance them way better. And while it's easy enough to create the custom post type, then move all your posts over there, getting your categories over there in the custom taxonomies for it was a challenge. And so I went researching and dug around and I discovered this fantastic plugin here called Taxonomy Converter. And what it allows you to do, and this is the free version that does this. I'm not sure. Do they have a pro version? Probably. Well, they don't mention it on this thing here, but what it does for you is if you are doing something that I did, and that is moving posts into a custom post type, and then creating a custom taxonomy for that custom post type, but you want to get those taxonomies from your regular post type into the custom taxonomies, well, you can do it one of two ways. You can go through and manually import them one by one. And in this case here, I had 56 custom categories that I needed to move over. And that was just way too much additional tedious work. So I installed this plugin and real quick and simple, it just walks you through what you want to convert. You can convert categories and tags, and you can either copy them or convert them to the other side. I copied them because I felt I should leave some information in the posts for other stuff. But at any rate, this saved me probably a good hour or two of tedious work, and it's one that I highly recommend going and checking out. Fantastic plugin. It's Term Taxonomy Converter, and I give it a 5 dragon rating. There we go. And that's what I forgot to do. We're going to ramble here for a moment while I go out here and holler at the Twitter world and tell them, hey, I'm live. I forgot to do that because nobody's here. It's rather boring here at the moment, so don't know where everyone's at. So let's announce. Maybe somebody will show up. Who knows? We'll see what happens. People will show up or they don't show up. I don't really care. Well, I do care because then I feel lonely, neglected, all those things. Nah, that's not true. All right, let's go wander on and talk about WordPress items. I've got a couple of WordPress items. We're going to talk about these. This is dealing with the WordPress community. And these threads come from Reddit, where I find some of the more interesting discussions. Of course, Reddit's a dumpster fire, and people are rather grumpy and crappy over there, but I really got nothing to say for that. And so what we got here in this thread, they were discussing the issues around ACF, Advanced Custom Fields, versus the SCF, where some of them have labeled it Stolen Custom Fields, which in essence it was, because it was taken in a really bad way. And they were asking, are they managing it and keeping it up to date? ACF, since the year ago, they've advanced dramatically with that plugin. Supposedly this was happening during the time of the initialized lawsuits, and Matt Mullenweg was throwing his hissy fits and basically being a 5-year-old in the walkway in a department store complaining because he couldn't have the chocolate bar. So, at any rate, they took it and then they did a whole lot of other things to it, but we don't know I don't know if it's being kept up to date. I own a license for Advanced Custom Fields Pro because it's used so much now that I've figured out how it works. And it makes for building out some nice stats. So this is an interesting discussion of what's happening, and I like this one particular thread, a hot take on Automatic's product history. This was the one that got my eye in particular from this. And what they talk about, WordPress, the fork of an earlier open source project. I can't remember what, a cafe blog, I think it was. And it's a fantastic product, but it's the open source big community-driven thing, but they took on their own projects at Kismet. Fantastic. I used to use it in the beginning years of my WordPress development. I loved it. It was great. And at that time, it was free. So we used it. And then they made it, well, free for personal blogs, but you have to get a license if you use it on your business sites. Well, okay, maybe. And the license was affordable. And then they started doing other miscellaneous things to it. It just became, it wasn't all that great. And according to this, it's expensive for commercial use. WordPress stats, that was actually a wonderful plugin. I used it back in the early years. I liked it. It gave you simple stats. It didn't bloat your site. And then they took it and stuffed it into Jetpack and turned it into a nightmare. Jetpack, the creation of that jack of all trades, it's kind of like that. I wish I bred that image up. The Super Master, let's see, Super Master Swiss knife. Let's see what we get here. Let's see if the crazy version of it. Crazy version. Let's see if we get it here. Ah, there it is. There we go. Let's bring this over just for fun. There you go. There's the Super Master Swiss Army knife that everyone wants to carry around with you. That's what they've done to Jetpack. They put so much stuff in there. It's one of the things that's interesting. I was talking to a fellow developer about it. And he says, yeah, if I get a website that's slowing down, first thing I do is go check to see if Jetpack's installed. And I turn that off and the website starts running like a hot damn. So, yeah. Gutenberg, well, wonderful idea, piss poor implementation. That's what it boils down to. If they'd have kept it as a plugin and then truly developed it and made it functional, I think it would have made all the difference in the world in the acceptance of it and the rollout. Although I still find Gutenberg to be unintelligible and unintuitive every time I have to use it. So I spend way more time doing other things that are simpler. So at any rate, this is an interesting discussion. Go check out the thread. Add your 2 cents to it if you use Reddit. Another interesting thread off of Reddit. Oh, hang on. Yep, one more time. Click, click. Okay, this one here is people talking about what is their biggest problem with WordPress. And, you know, the biggest issues they have. It's a pretty good thread. People are pretty decent in the discussion in this one, you know, stating some simple facts, you know. No core support for multilingual websites. You still got to use other methods. Core issues, gimmicky website builder instead of targeting serious developers. That's what the Gutenberg is. Plugin bloat's at an all-time high. I don't think plugin bloat is a problem. You know, I find that you have to use the number of plugins necessary to get all the function you need. That could be as few as 1 or 0. Well, you can't really get away with 0. I think you need at least 1. Or as high as a recent website I built. I went and looked at it today. It had 69 plugins active. And it still runs like a hot damn, but I carefully chose the plugins for the specific functionality and tested, made sure it didn't slow things down and everything else. So you can have a lot of plugins. All a plugin is additional code. And people go, well, don't do that. Put it all in your functions file. Well, yeah, you're still got to read the code. Code still has to be read no matter where you put it in the hierarchy of how WordPress reads its code. It's still got to get read. So it doesn't matter whether it's a plugin in the functions file or whatever. Whatever plugins give you ability to do so many more things. Biggest problem at WordPress is plugin updates and security. Well, that's a big yes and no. The updates are easy enough. Security, if you go to the core of WordPress and see this one here is outside the core. You know, I sort of took the question as talking about the core. If you're talking about the WordPress community as a whole, yeah, it's the plugin updates and security, the lack of updates from stuff. And then the security, I think almost every security hole in WordPress comes from a plugin or a theme. Actually, virtually every once in a while there's one in WordPress. But WordPress core, it's pretty tight now. There's only a couple of minor flaws in it that aren't even security holes, at least from I forget who it does the scans for me. So we've got all that going and happening. And so anyway, what else have we got in here? The ecosystem. Well, the ecosystem around WordPress, you have automatic stance on everything, and then you have a large chunk of the community's stance on everything else. Like the distribution of WordPress core, that should be handled solely by the WordPress.org foundation, provided the foundation wasn't in the hands of one person. The foundation should have a full and proper board to manage everything, but that's a whole nother animal that I've only got bits and pieces on. So, but the ecosystem around WordPress is the reason why I've recommitted to it. You know, at one time, we'll talk about that when I bring up some other news, but it was Classic Press. I had started to shift the Classic Press, but the community around it wasn't big enough to support the projects that I've been working on. WordPress has such a massive community because so many people have built so many different types of websites and come up with so many different ideas and so many different plugins that you can rearrange them in dozens, hundreds, thousands, probably an infinite number of ways to create a whole new way of doing things. And that's one of the joys of WordPress in those aspects. So that's all of that stuff there. All right, let's go wander on into talk about the second plugin. Actually, before we go to the second plugin, let's see what else I've got here, just so we can get a little bit of stuff before I dive into another plugin here. Oh, here's the other promotional piece I am doing regularly now, and this is so I can showcase multiple people in the WordPress community from X. X, for anyone listening to the downloads that doesn't have an X account, X has a massively huge tech community, and it's got a very huge WordPress community. And these are some of the WordPress people in that community that I highly recommend. If you don't follow them, go follow them. Pascal Claro from WP Roads, really great guy. I'll be talking about his YouTube channel here shortly. But he's a really great, lots of information, puts out lots of educational stuff over on his YouTube channel. B. Fentanyl, Benjamin Intal, B. Fentanyl, okay. He's got a lot of really great stuff. He created Simo for WordPress, which is a really fantastic plugin. I think I've brought it to a show already for a review. If I haven't, I'll talk about it real briefly. Simo is a image compression plugin that works without connecting to anything else. It uses your local browser and computer to compress the images and upload them. I'm not certain how it works, but it works. So, and it converts them to WebP at the same time. Very fantastic plugin. I've been using it regularly on a couple sites now. So go follow him. Vinny McKee. You might want to go check him out from Wicked Plugins. And he's got a very small account, only 320 followers. So a fair number of people listening to the show don't follow him. Go over there and follow him. Give him some love. He's got lots of great information, puts out some really good topics, other miscellaneous things. And then the final one for this show is Rad Web Hosting. They're a great web hosting provider from Dallas, Texas, and they provide hosting services, and they do talk about WordPress from time to time, along with all of their content on web hosting. So go check these guys out. They are a medium-sized account at 3,800 people. So that gets all of that. I think now is a good time for me to bounce back and talk about the second plugin I've brought today. Now, this one here, I think I may have used this one or one similar to this ages ago. And what it is it's plugin. Yeah, it's a 3.3, so it could have been quite a while ago. I don't know. Just me curiosity. I'm gonna go see when. Let's go see if he's got no dates in his. He's got no dates in his change log, so we don't know when it first hit the pavement. Okay, so anyway, list custom taxonomy, and it may no longer be supported. It's been over a year since he's done any updates to it or even tagged it to say, yep, still compatible, which you got to do from time to time if you got them in the repo. At any rate, what we've got here, this one here, the problem it solves, he doesn't have any screenshots on it, and I can't give you, yeah, he's got no screenshots on it. Okay, so what it does for you is it creates a widget. Now, you remember those, for those folks that still use widgets. Well, the way I build websites, I still use the WordPress widgets from time to time. The widgets work really beautiful as a widget placed into an Elementor theme to make something look pretty. Actually, I can showcase exactly how pretty it makes something. So let's go showcase how pretty it makes something look. And loading. There you go. This is how pretty it makes something look. Oh, that's the wrong page. This is the website that I've been talking about just regularly here. We want to scroll down to one of the recipes. Let's go check out the... Oh, wrong page. That would be the wrong page for it. I want... Yeah, that's the wrong... Yeah, it's the wrong page for it. One more time. It's on this page. This page. What it does for you, you put a widget in, and it takes your custom taxonomies or your taxonomies or any of your taxonomies, and then it makes a nice, beautiful hierarchy for you. All beautifully presented, style them up with the CSS so it matches up to your website and allows people to navigate through your custom taxonomies in your archive page. So this is a fantastic plugin. Now it is starting to age a bit, and there's a couple of tweaks I found that it's not quite working right in Elementor, so I may adopt it and fork it out to work with what I need it to do. But for the most part, it provides exactly what you need if you're using widgets and you want to display custom taxonomies. And you can do some limitations on what it leads. You can have it just show the top level ones. That's one of the tweaks I want to do. I want to have it show top level or show bottom level or be able to showcase just sub levels or certain ones. You know, there was one I used years ago and I can't find it. So at any rate, yep, head of securities, let me know somebody's out there. I don't know if you guys can hear him. Head of security's doing his job. That would be Rogue. All right, so anyway, go check this one out. List custom taxonomy widget, and I give it a 5 dragon rating. All right, onward, forward. What do we got next? All right, we've covered that. Let's see. Yeah, we covered that. Covered that. On to... education. Some educational stuff on WordPress. This one here should have been discussing WordPress issues. All right. This one here. Oh, template tax. Yes, it's template tax. A lot of people don't realize this, but there's a hidden fee on every $500 Fiverr website. It's called the template tax. You can save money up front and then pay for it later in lost time, lost leads, bug fixes, rebuilds, SEO that never works. Yes, I will vouch for that. I have taken on projects that have done that. In my early years, I may have been guilty of doing that. I'm not saying I was, but, you know, there's always a possibility. I don't know. Statute of limitations is gone. Who knows? At any rate, what happens is a lot of those Fiverr websites, they don't build. What they do is they take a template, they throw it in there, and it's an all-in-one, all-inclusive template that has everything included in it. And down the road, as your business grows or expands, or the template developer doesn't keep up, or the guy who built it on Fiverr doesn't give you your license for the template and he's been using his license, and maybe he folds up shop and stops paying the licensing fee so you don't get the updates anymore. All the list goes on as to the reasons why. And then what happens is they have to come in, and that $500 website is now 2, 3, 4, 8, 10, 12, 15 grand to rebuild. Depends on, you know, where they're at in their business and how much they depend on their website and how much they want to actually have the same SEO structure when it's rebuilt versus while it was working before. So there's a whole lot that goes into that. So anyway, it's one to go check out. Now, the next item I have here, this one here, I don't know why I popped it up, but there'll be some code snippets in the website that go with this. But what this is something that's, well, I've taken care of that problem. It's those annoying update emails you get every time a website updates. And if you manage or you are the administrator listed on a WordPress website, maybe even 5 years ago, and the people never changed it from you as the administrator, you still get updates and you can't go near that website. So at any rate, this is something you can do while you're building something out. Turn those annoying update notifications off, because do you really need to know that, yes, WordPress did all these updates? Aren't you happy? Or it failed. Well, you can do it either with some code snippets into the functions file, or you can do it with this plugin here, which is a pretty decent little plugin. And it strictly takes care of turning off the notifications. Or what I've been using for the last 3 years is Easy Updates Manager, which has a spot in it where you can turn those notifications off also, along with being able to prevent core updates, prevent specific plugin updates, and, hide plugins, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot more that can be done there. All right. So what we need now, we need tip of the day. That's my tip of the day sound. Yeah, I like that. I think I'll use it. All right, some tips of the day, just for everyone. We might actually have something useful to talk about and random to talk about. Hey, Ryan, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. All right, today's the tips of the day here is going to be, tip one is go check out WP Pro A to Z. We are a full service agency to help you out with your web consultation, web design services, hosting and maintenance, and SEO. So go check us out, hit us up for a quote, and we will provide you with something pretty decent. Another great tip, I talked about it on the show with Amber last week, and that is the Internet Archive has created a plugin so that you can set up and have your website automatically sent to the Internet Archive. And it can also supposedly help you fix broken links. So something to check out if you got broken internal links, but it is a very interesting, useful thing. And I found a new plugin on GitHub that I want to give a try to, and it's another in the long series of snippet plugins. And this one here has multiple snippets, and it will run them anywhere and everywhere on your site, and you can go turn them on and off. Did he get, no, he doesn't have screenshots in there. So anyway, it's just a snippet plugin, and I thought it would be interesting to explore it out a little bit and see what it can and can't do. Yeah, okay. So anyway, that, and just so everyone knows, Classic Press is still going decently strong. They're moving forward. They just released their version 2.6. I haven't looked at Classic Press in a couple, 3-4 years now, not since their community started to fall apart and it made zero progress. And I had to make a living, so I went back and recommitted to WordPress and decided to whine and complain about Gutenberg in other ways, and to see if we can move the community in new directions. And this year in particular, I'm working more towards that. But I thought it would be nice to let people know that if you are fully dissatisfied with WordPress, there is an absolute true fork of the classic version of WordPress. Now, this was forked at version 4.9 of WordPress, just before it was forked at the last version of 4.9, just before they crammed Gutenberg into it. All right. Something to whine about. What we're going to whine about this week, my pet peeve of the week. And I'm not even, I don't have one to call out for this, but I should have done a little more research. But what it's basically about, the pet peeve I've got deals with the plugins in the WordPress repo where the developers seem to want to be invisible. They want to put this stuff out there and be total anonymous and never have anyone come to possibly give them money or encourage them to take their beautiful free plugin to the next level of paid and premium versions of the plugin where they can really make some decent money. And what I mean by this is we go there, and my marketing manager and Amber in particular, they do more of this research than me, are particularly grieved because they'll go there when we're talking about plugins and they'll go search for social media info so that we can give them shout outs on the social media that we're talking about their plugins. And there's nothing. Sometimes they don't have a website or connections to a GitHub repo or any place else. They're just like a plugin, and then they've got a half-assed profile in WordPress.org, which I don't know, whatever. But it's like, we want to give credit where credit's due. We want to say, hey, this is a fantastic plugin. You know, if you did this and this with it, you could put that as an add-on and make it premium. And look, you've got 5,000 people using it. If you can get 1% of those, that's 500 people. No, 1%, 5,000 times 1%. How's my math? Times 1% is 50. That's 50 people. You know, if you can get 50 people paying you $35, you know, that's $1,700. You know, it's not a lot, but it's a start, and it'll give you extra beer money for a year if that's your annual licensing fee. But still, the point is there's ways to do this, and one of them is, when shows like me or others, they want to give shout outs. If you don't have contact info in your WordPress.org repo, well, then we don't know who to talk to. So at any rate, that's my pet peeve. And, well, I don't think it's going to change, but I had to ramble about it. Okay. I do have a new segment that's talking about others. One of the big things and big changes you're going to see in WP plugins A to Z is, one, I have to pause when I'm by myself so I can drink coffee and keep from choking. The silence is beautiful. That's what we'll call it. It's the silence is beautiful moments. The ones that make people think, hey, did I just lose everything? Okay. This new segment here is another one talking about others and promoting others. And I've started a list, and the list will continue to grow. Many of them will get repeated many times. And I will continue to keep this same list in every show notes so that people can come in and find a good central place to do this. Over this next year, WordPress WP Plugins A to Z is going to expand to be doing more of this, trying to get people in the community, helping each other, not because they're going to get a buck for it, but because that helps them get other people in. It could give them an idea on how to turn it into an income. Look at what Ryan over at Influence WP has done. He's managed over the last year and a bit to take Influence WP in a direction that brings in a minor amount of income for it, I hope. And that's just for his time and services. It's fantastic. And I really applaud that. And that's the whole thing. As he mentioned in one of his tweets, find problem, identify problem, create solution, and then sell it. And that's what we're working towards. Help people identify problems, create solutions, and then sell them. So that being said, what I've got here is a segment that's for other shows and places to get WordPress info and training tips. Hang on a sec. Got to add to my notes here as I improve everything. Okay, the first one here, and this is a show I pretty much listen to every Monday morning because I'm up earlier than I should be on the West Coast. He broadcasts it from the UK at 2 p.m. his time. So pretty much anyone past central United States is not going to want to get up. It goes live at 6 a.m. my time. And I barely catch it because I've just barely sat down to my computer at that time to check emails, etc. But it is fantastic. You can go back and listen to the archives later. He does the WP Builds podcast. WP Builds podcast. See, I can enunciate. It just takes effort. He does the WP Builds podcast. He also does the This Week in WordPress weekly. This one here, you'll find me. I've been on 2 of his shows. If you want to be on his shows, he's got a booking form somewhere on his website where you can book time to be on it. You just have to be available for his 2 p.m. UK time, wherever that happens to be in your time zone on the globe. So anyway, they get some really good discussions, some good talking. The WP Builds, he has a lot of really great guests and some really great stuff they talk about. So go check him out. A lot of people already watch him. Another one here is WP Rhodes. And we talked about Pascal and his Twitter feed earlier. This is his YouTube channel, and he's got a lot of videos in here. Where's the listing of videos? YouTube keeps changing everything. Every time I come here, it's changed. Oh, they used to list the number of videos. I guess they don't do that anymore. Anyway, he's got a lot of videos going back, talking about multiple subjects such as transparent headers for Elementor, an Elementor tutorial, off canvas, align buttons, hostinger. Yeah, that one makes you want to gag. Anyway, he's got a lot of tutorials and other great stuff to go check that out. Okay, another one is WP Tonic and his podcast series. And another great show. I've been on his show once, and he's a really great interviewer. And again, he's got a way that you can book. He'll be listed in my people to follow on Twitter. Go find his Twitter feed and give him a shout out, and he'll tell you how to book your interview if you want to be on his show. And then this one here, the world's worst web developer. And I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, I interviewed him not too long ago on my show, and he's got a whole bunch of training videos with a pretty heavy focus on Etch now. So go check that out. You know, he's got his thing, why he hates page builders, and then he talks about Etch. So anyway, go check him out and see what he's got, his YouTube channel. You know, as I find more and more of these things, as I find the same people with different outlets for their training or discussion material, I'll add them to the same name. So over time, this will build up for me. If people hear those things, James, that's his name. Thanks, Ryan. All I had to do was look over there at my comments on the, screen to my right has everything I'm looking at talking to you guys, and screen all the way to my left has the YouTube stuff that I have to look at from time to time to make sure we're still streaming and I haven't gone off the air. You're late to the party, marketing manager. She'll get it. All right. Let's see, where am I at here? I think that covered all the content I have, but one last item. Just give it a scroll through. Yeah, one last item, and then we'll just call it a wrap here. And that last item here is, as I can, talk about it, and I need to actually go get a thing here. Before we talk about this, we're going to talk about a rambling of nothing. My head of security is wandering through the house right now doing his hourly watch walk. Make sure everything's good. Maybe it's not hourly. He gets up every once in a while and he walks from end to end searching for things. Okay, what we're talking about now, upcoming interviews. And if you want to be on WP Plugins A to Z show, you can go to my interview page and book yourself an interview. All the spots that are available are right here in the calendar. If it's green, you can book it. Look, you can still book December 29th if you want to talk to me then. You can then pop into January and you can book January 26th. So there you go. January 12th is already booked. You can't get that one. So every 2 weeks, I do an interview show. If I don't have an interview show, I do this show where I ramble for anywhere from 15 minutes to, I think my record so far is 48 minutes, where I had a ton of material. Anyway, my up-and-coming interview on January 12th is with Rudolfo Melogi. Sorry, Rodolfo, I might have butchered your name. I'll have to talk to you to find out how to pronounce it. Anyway, his X feed is linked in the show notes in this section for upcoming interviews. And you'll want to, go check him out. Check out all his stuff. He does a lot of stuff. Check out Summit, Business Bloomer, WKWKLY.com. Oh, WC Weekly. Okay, not sure. Oh, WooCommerce Weekly. Okay, so his will be stuff that I'll be bringing in later into the other section I just talked about. So I'm looking forward to interviewing him because he puts out a lot of stuff around WooCommerce and provides a lot of training and other things on it. So it should be a great interview. You'll want to show up for that show. All right. That's pretty much it. And that's a wrap. So marketing manager, yeah, you typed it the same as Brian. But yeah, you were late to the party. He beat you. All right. That's pretty much it. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. Thanks to you for listening to the downloads here on the show. And we're going to play our outro and then a little bit of music to carry us through. And last bit, because you won't hear from me until the end of the year. If I do a show on the 29th, I may skip the 29th. But Amber and I won't be doing a live show until the new year. The next two shows will be pre-recorded because they're too close to Christmas and New Year's, and we prefer to spend time with our family. Weird as it sounds, we kind of prioritize our family. As much as we work, we still prioritize our family above our workload. Whenever we possibly can. Occasionally, you got to do that. But no, most of the time we don't. So at any rate, you'll get pre-recorded shows from us. They'll be really great and fun, and they will just go live to YouTube at the 12 o'clock slot time, and the podcast will be published at the same time. So you'll get it in your downloads at the same time. So if you listen to us on a modern podcast app, you'll get instantaneous notification of it all and more. All right, with all of that being said, I'm going to let our girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All the show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by you, the developers, because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show through your favorite podcast app. You can also watch the show live on YouTube at WP Plugins A to Z, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. You can also follow the show on X at WP Plugins A to Z. John can be reached directly through the website wpproatoz.com or email him at john@wppro.ca. Amber can also be contacted through the website at wpproatoz.com or email her directly, amber@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill.
Alrighty, folks. That's all we got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh no. Obviously we just lost the satellite feed. That's